Dear students, welcome back to our learning session. Now, in the chapter Interpolation, we have studied various methods such as finite differences, Newton's forward formula, Newton's backward formula, Gauss forward formula, and Gauss backward formula. And these formulas were for top, bottom, and for the central difference. And we have seen that the values of x were in equal interval. So now we'll proceed towards one more central difference formula, that is Stirling's interpolation formula for equal interval, and also we will see Lagrange formula for unequal interval, right? Now first let us see the formula for Stirling's interpolation formula. For the given set of n plus 1 values x0, y0, x1, y1 up to xn, yn of x and y. Okay, we are given the values of x and y over here, and we are asked to find the value of a particular function using Stirling's formula. So now let us see what is the formula for Stirling. Ynx equal to y0 plus p upon 1 factorial, you can say, delta y0 plus delta y minus 1 upon 2 plus p square upon 2 factorial delta square y minus 1 plus p into p square minus 1 upon 3 factorial delta cube y minus 1 plus delta cube y minus 2 divided by 2 plus p square into p square minus 1 upon 4 factorial delta raised to 4 y minus 2, where p equal to x minus x0 upon h. Now see, if you see the pattern of the finite differences table, and what we apply in the formula is, in Newton's forward formula we were taking all the first values of each and every column. In the backward formula, Newton's backward formula, we are taking all the last values of each and every column. Okay, and in central difference, that is for Gauss forward difference table, we are taking the nearest value x0 and y0, and from that we are starting from the lower point of x0 and y0. We are starting from downward direction and we are taking the zigzag pattern. In the same way, in the backward formula we have seen that first we choose x0, which is nearest to the given value, and we are taking the corresponding value of y as y0, and then we start from upward direction and then we go from upward towards the zigzag up to the last term. Okay, now see, in Stirling's formula we will take the average of the values. Let us understand this by taking few examples. Our first example is, find the value of y of 35 from the given data. Okay, so we are given the values of x and y over here. First what we will do is, first we will construct the difference table. As we know that difference table is same, lower term minus upper term, again lower term minus upper term, you get all the values up to the last term. And in Stirling's formula we will go mostly up to delta raised to 4. Okay, now see, we are asked to find the value of y of 35. So y of 35 comes between 30 to 40, and we are asked to find using Stirling's formula. So first we need to choose is x0 and y0. Now 35 is nearest to both x0 30 and 40. Okay, so you can take either 30, either 40. If there is equal interval between the values, you can take either of the values. Here I am taking 30 as x0 and 439 as y0. Now see, here you have to take the average. If this is our x0 and y0, I will take the average of this value, that is delta, which this is the portion, this is the average of these two values. Again I will take a single term, that is of delta square, which is delta square minus 1. Next I will again take the average of two values, and in the last term I will take a single value. So here there is the average of two values, right? See, now we are taking the Stirling's formula. Okay, so we have written here Stirling's formula. Pattern of P is P square, P into P square minus 1 and P square into P square minus 1. This pattern is very important for us to remember. Okay, now P equal to x minus x0 upon h. X, that is we have to find y of 35. So 35 will be our x. X0 we have taken the middle value, that is 30. Difference between the values of x is 10. So h is equal to 10. So our p is 0.5. First I will put all the values of p over here. P square, p into p square minus 1 and p square into p square minus 1. Now I will start taking the average. See, first value is y0, that is the central value which you have taken, 439. Next value will be the average of 2, that is the minus 73 plus minus 93 divided by 2, right? Next single value we will take, that is minus 20. Next again we will take average, minus 35 minus 10 by 2. Plus 10 by 2, we are taking average. Okay, again last value is 45. So we have substituted all the values over here, and on simplifying this you get 395.42 as your answer of y of 35 using Stirling's central difference formula. Okay, our next question is, let f of 40 equal to 836, f of 50 equal to 682, f of 60 equal to 436, f of 70 equal to 272, and you have to find the value of f of 55 using Stirling's formula. Okay, so first we will do is we will construct the difference table. Now see, this 40, 50, 60 and 70, these are in equal interval of 10. So that will be the values of x, and rest are the values of y over here. Okay, rest are the values of y. So I will construct difference table. I will subtract lower term minus upper term, and I will do it until I achieve the last single term, right? So here our table is up to delta cube y. Now I am writing here Stirling's formula, y(x) equal to y0 plus p, average of two terms, p square by 2 factorial, again a single digit, plus p into p square minus 1 upon 3 factorial, and again we are taking the average of two terms. Now next we will find the value of p. So we have to find the value of 55. So our value of x will be 55. x0, we are choosing this as x0. See, 55 again is between 50 to 60. So you can either take 50 or 60. Here I am taking 50 as my x0. So x0 is 50, and there is interval of 10 between the values of h. So I am taking h as 10. Simplifying this, we get p equal to 0.5. Now I will put all these values in above Stirling's formula. So y0 is here 682. So I am putting here 682. Again I am putting value of p over here, right? And next I will take average, minus 154 minus 246 by 2, right? Again a single digit is minus 92. Here I am taking minus 92. Again I have to take average. See, now here only I am having 174. There is no term over here. So I will consider this as 0. So I will just take 174 plus 0 by 2. Again on simplifying this using a simple or scientific calculator, you get your answer as 565.06, which is the required value of f of 55. So students, these 5 methods, Newton's forward, Newton's backward, Gauss forward, Gauss backward and Stirling formula, are used for equal interval, that is when the values of x are at equal interval. Now we will take one method which is used for unequal interval. See, every time it is not possible that we are having only equal intervals. Okay, so there must be some formulas for unequal interval. Now we will move towards the formula for unequal interval, which is known as Lagrange interpolation formula. So Lagrange formula is used for unequal intervals. Okay, now to obtain the value of x, see here there are two formulas. Okay, so just try to understand it. To obtain the values of x, for the values of y0, y1 up to yn and x0, x1 up to xn, when you are asked to find the value of x equal to suppose 25, that time you have to use this formula. See how to remember this formula. First here I am taking, when I am taking for x equal to here, so here I will take x0, x1 up to xn, and when I am taking here x0, in my numerator there will be no term of y0, so I will start my term from y minus y1, y minus y2 up to y minus yn. See, since I am not taking y0 above, here I will subtract each and every term from y0. So y0 minus y1, y0 minus y2 up to y0 minus yn. Similarly, here I am taking x1, so in numerator I will not take the term of y1, I will skip it. I will start from y0, I will not take y1, I will take y minus y2 up to y minus yn. And here I am taking x1 and above I am not taking y1, so in the denominator portion I will subtract each and every term from y1. So y1 minus y0, y1 minus y2, I will not take y1 minus y0, y1. If I am taking y1 minus y1, then this will be 0, and if numerator is 0, then the term tends to infinity. Okay, so I will subtract each and every term from y1 up to yn, right? Similarly, I will continue this process up to xn terms. Now, if you want to obtain the value of y, if we want to obtain the values of y for the values y0 to yn and x0 to xn, we will just interchange each and every term here. In place of x over here I will put y, in place of y over here I will put x. So here I am taking y0. Okay, so above I will not take any term of x0, so my term will start from x minus x1, x minus x2 up to x minus xn. Similarly, in the denominator portion I will subtract each and every term from x0, x1 minus x0 minus x1, x0 minus x2 up to x0 minus xn. Similarly, I will do the same procedure for y1 up to yn. It will be easier for us to understand by taking examples. Okay. First example is, using Lagrange interpolation formula, obtain the value of x for y equal to 85. You have to find the value of x, so you need to take the formula for x, right? See, now here I am already given all the values x0, x1, x2 and x3. This is y0, y1, y2 and y3. I will just write the formula of Lagrange till where you have to take y3. So, and I have to find the value of x. So I will take x equal to, first I am taking x0. So in the numerator part I will take y minus y1, y minus y2, y minus y3. Similarly, in the denominator portion I will minus each and every term from y0. y0 minus y1, y0 minus y2, y0 minus y3. Plus I will take x1. So in numerator there will be no term of y1. So y minus y0, y2 and y3. And in denominator I will minus each term from y1. y1 minus y0, y1 minus y2 and y1 minus y3. The same procedure I will continue up to all x3, the last term, right? Now it's very simple. All the values are given to us. I will simply substitute it and I will simplify the equation and I get my answer as 6.31. Let us take one more example. Compute F4 from the given values. Compute F4 from the given values. We are given x0, x1, x2, x3, y0, y1, y2 and y3. What you have to find? You have to find the value of y4. Now fx equal to y. So you have to find the value of y. So I will take the formula of y. That is the second formula from the starting. Okay. So here I will take y0. So above there will be no terms of x0. So x minus x1, x minus x2, x minus x3. Similarly, in the denominator I will not take any term of x0. So I will subtract each and every term from x0. x0 minus x1, x0 minus x2, x0 minus x3. I will continue this up to y3. All the values are given over here. I will simply substitute and I will get my answer as 0.390. Okay. One more example, bit different from previous two, but it's very easy. Express the function 3x square minus 12x plus 11 upon x minus 1, x minus 2 and x minus 3 as a sum of partial fraction using Lagrange formula. You have to express this as a sum of partial fraction. See, this is partial fraction. If I take 3x square minus 12x plus 11 upon x minus 1, x minus 2, x minus 3. If I can express this term as b upon x minus 2 plus c upon x minus 3. If I can express this in these terms, then this is called partial fraction. Now see, the numerator is our polynomial, that is p and x, and the denominator 1, 2 and 3, these are my x0, x1 and x2. I have to find what? I have to find y0, y1 and y2. And what is my function? My function is p and x. Now I will keep all the values of x one by one. See, y0, that is p and x0. x0 is 1, so I will find the value of p of 1. I will put 1 in place of x over here. So I get y0 as 2. Similarly, I will put x equal to 2 and I get y1 equal to minus 1. In the same way, I will put x equal to 3 in this term and I will get the value of y2. Now, this is the formula you have to remember. This can be expressed in this way. See, first this formula you have to remember, right? First I am taking y0. So denominator portion will be x0 minus x1, x0 minus x2. And here I will take x minus x0. In the same way, if I will take y1, I will take here x1 minus x0, x1 minus x2, x minus x1. Same thing I will take for y2. Now I am having x0, x1, x2, y0, y1, y2 here I have written. I will put all these values over here and I get my final answer as 1 upon x minus 1 plus 1 upon x minus 2 plus 1 upon x minus 3. So I have expressed this given function into the partial fraction. Let us take one more example. Using Lagrange formula, fit the polynomial into the data. Also find y of x equal to 2. See, again I am given here x0, x1, x2, x3, y0, y1, y2 and y3. As discussed in Newton's forward formula, that whenever we have to find a polynomial, we have to keep x as it is. Okay, so here we are having up to y3. Okay, so now first I will write the formula of Lagrange which we have just studied now, right? These are the values of x0 to x3 and y0 to y3. I will put x as it is and I will substitute all the values over here, and I will simplify these terms. See, if I say you this will be x as it is, x as it is, I will simplify this 8, this will be minus 1 into minus 3 into minus 4, and this if I multiply I get this term as x square minus 5x plus 6. Similarly, I will simplify for all the terms. I will get this my as polynomial. So this is the required polynomial of the given data. Now what you are asked to do is you also have to find the value of y at x equal to 2. So what I will do is I will put x equal to 2 in the obtained polynomial. So I am putting here x equal to 2. I will simplify this and I will get y equal to 1 for x equal to 2. Okay. So this was the formula for Lagrange differential equation, and we have studied here Stirling's and Lagrange. Stirling's is for equal interval and Lagrange is for unequal interval. Thank you.